I started studying film when I was around 10 years old. Was writing screenplays since high school. Been working on and off of film sets for about a decade. Mostly like short films, some television stuff, did a little bit of everything. I've just been directing my own short films for upwards of 7 years.
Yeah, I got started writing novels. I was writing short stories before then. I don't even remember what age I was when I wrote my first novel. I think I was around 28 when I wrote my second one. I wrote my first screenplay with a friend of mine. It was a mess, as just the first time doing anything always is. Yeah. Same with my first novel, just a complete mess. I think really I started writing maybe around 18 or so. I started writing my own stuff just outside of school. I've taken screenwriting classes and creative writing classes and things of that nature. I think if you're writing before you learn structure, when you're learning the structure, it really kills you as a writer. Your creativity, because you're so focused on maintaining the structure. Well, then once you get used to that, you then can kind of forget about the structure and get back to being creative. And it's all kind of, everything becomes natural again. Yeah, it is kind of a learn and then forget kind of a deal. Because I started writing the same way, and then once I learned about structure and kind of the rules, then my ideas started to become a lot more organized, but also less fun. And so I had to start kind of like relearning how to just use the rules when they're useful to you, but forget the rules when it's impeding on the story. Necessity really was, I guess, the main reason. I've been wanting to do a feature-length film since I did The Good Samaritan. It's a short film I did a couple of years back. And, whenever I talk to someone about it and I want to do a feature-length film, people are usually hesitant to jump onto your first one. And then when COVID hit, it seemed like more and more of an impossibility. Eventually, it just got to the point where I was just not going to wait anymore. I was kind of sick of waiting. I wasn't going to use quarantine or no crew or no budget as an excuse, and I was just going to do it. So the idea of Confined came more from I guess it was born of boredom and the anxiety of not being able to shoot with anybody else. And then we wrote it around not having a cast. So we kind of just kept that in mind when we were writing it. We had a couple scripts.
Yeah. We
had a couple scripts that we wanted to start pushing forward towards and try and figure out casting and location and budget and all that stuff. And then, once COVID hit, it just changed everything. So we just worked on this.
Not having any resources really is kind of difficult. We couldn't have an extravagant set piece or expensive looking visual effects at all. So we had to rely heavily on just this lack of resource and try and make that interesting somehow, So I think that the most difficult part of that is writing around the lack of resource. You have to try and still come up with a way for it to be engaging and entertaining in spite of the fact that there's no cast. And there's nothing like super exciting, no explosions that you can fall back on.
I think the budget was a constraint. One of the bigger constraints, though, was just figuring out how do we do it. And it turned out that we had to do it at like 4 o'clock in the morning just to keep as much noise pollution and light pollution out as possible.
Yeah.
And that was, it was really cold.
Yeah.
It was really cold. I mean, it's Southern California, but it's still pretty cold.
Yeah. Well, we shot this in December and January, so it was really cold at night.
We don't have any winter clothes. There's nothing but shorts and tank tops.
There's no insulation in a cellar.
Yeah. Just like everything, it's necessity is the mother of invention, and it's how do we make this work? How can we get it done with just with our schedules and everything else, and you end up figuring it out. If you want to get it done, you'll end up figuring it out.
Yeah, that's true. We shot until the sun came up, and when I needed to take a fall, we don't have a budget for like a crash mat, so we're just gonna go for it. I'm just gonna jump on the floor and hope that my knee hitting the concrete doesn't send me to the hospital. And so I just went for it and smacked my knee and then realized I was still wearing my dust mask. So so I ruined the take. I needed to take the dust mask off and do it again. I think I fell 2 or 3 times before I realized that we could just like grab a mattress from one of the beds and use that as a crash mat. But it didn't even occur to us at first that we could do that because like, oh, we don't have the budget for these like safety precautions like a crash mat, so we're just gonna go for it and hopefully I don't get hurt. You know?
Yeah, pain makes you smart real quick.
Yeah.
But before something hurts, you don't always think about what the intelligent thing to do is.
That's true. The location itself was pretty small, low ceilings, a lot of dust in the air. And that was kind of the biggest hurdle, the biggest problem. We filmed for maybe 4 days before we realized that our throats were like completely clogged and we both had really bad sore throats. We realized we need dust masks the entire time we're down there, except for when the camera's rolling. And the low ceilings were hitting our heads and we had a couple of injuries. I think it was day 1 that you broke the light bulb against your head.
Yeah.
You just like ran right into it and shattered all over the place.
Yeah, luckily I didn't get hurt.
Yeah.
I think I may have had my hoodie on or a headband on or something.
Yeah.
That kind of protected me. But yeah, I went right through a light bulb with my head, just right through it. And then I also I hit a low beam too. I hit it to the point where my neck made a popping noise. Yeah. And I had to like stop and kind of move very slowly to make sure I didn't do something serious.
Permanent damage.
Yeah, but I really just, when you hit something in there, it doesn't move, so it's like you're just, it just annihilates you when you're going full speed at something.
The rat was super cooperative. And we got pretty much everything we needed from the rat on like the first couple takes. A lot of the MacGyver type of stuff that we did worked out really well. Like it only took us like 1 or 2 takes to do, with the exception of there was a water bottle scene that took us maybe 3 days to do it. But aside from that, yeah, we didn't really have to worry too much about continuity because all the MacGyver stuff we were getting done in like 1 or 2 takes, and then we were able to move on. So.
Yeah, I agree. I think the rat was the best actor in the whole film.
Yeah.
That rat really, like anytime that rat was supposed to do something, it did exactly what it was supposed to do. Yeah. It was really weird. I think for me, the big success was we needed a shot where it looked like the sun was kind of going down. Yeah. And so I had to Spider-Man between these 2 walls that were about, maybe 5 feet apart. Yeah. And there's no insulation. It's just the studs and the wall. And in between the studs is just like tons of spider webs with dead spiders and probably living spiders in it. And I'm an arachnophobe. Yeah. I mean, one of my first memories is literally seeing a spider on my chest when I was like 2 years old. I have nightmares about spiders all the time. Yeah. And I had to get up there and like cover one of the lights with this, piece of cardboard, you know. And I remember you saying like, "What about the spiders?" Yeah. I was like, "Let's get the shot." Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to think about that right now. So I just, I turned my brain off and just tried to get it done. Yeah. You're a good like 6 feet, 7 feet above like concrete stairs too. Yeah. So like you don't want to fall. We didn't really get too hurt, No. Like there's a day that I injured both of my hands in one day. I smashed the phone. My pinky was between the phone and the concrete, and I thought I broke my pinky. And then later that day, I burned my hand against the super hot light, and my hands were fine the next day. Like it hurt, but no real damage. Yeah. So I think we got lucky there. Yeah, I think we're just fairly robust. Yeah. People. I think only 3 people ever made it on set. There were a couple of days where a close friend of mine, Ellen, was able to come on set, and she knows cameras better than I do. But she was really helpful. We got a lot more done with her on set than with her not on set. But she was only available to come a couple of days. So most days it was just you and me. Some days it was just you. Yeah. Yeah. It's worth noting that we didn't tell anybody
that we were working on this when we started. I don't think we secured any voice actors until after we finished shooting. I didn't want to tell a bunch of people like, "Hey, I'm working on this thing," and then we aren't able to finish it, and then there's all these people that are like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
Like, so you say you want to be making movies, but then you don't follow through with it, and there's another one of them. So we didn't tell anybody until we finished, and then we started like securing voice actors, and we got our brother Joey to do the music. Aside from that, it was just you and me.
Yeah, you, me, Ellen, and the rat.
Yeah. I wish I'd put a little more preparation into my performance, into my acting. You're so worried about everything else when you're, directing and you're running back and forth and trying to do everything. Your head is so full of everything else that you've been doing that by the time I get in front of the camera and it's recording, I don't remember what my lines are. I don't remember what I'm supposed to be doing. Like I just did like 5 or 6 things. The last thing that I can remember is what I'm supposed to say. And so there were a lot of times where I feel like I would say, like, I don't know the lines, let's just hit record and see what happens. Because I didn't know if I knew the lines or not. Like, my head was too full. And, after Confined, I started looking more into acting, like acting classes, and kind of taking it more seriously and trying to kind of hone that skill. So that's I guess, the biggest regret I have is that I wish I'd worked on my acting a little bit more so, or like tried to hone that skill more so before we started filming.
I don't have any regrets.
We have another feature-length film already completed. It's called The Golden Boys. It's a comedy, and I think that it's better than Confined. I think it's actually, I think Confined is pretty good, and I think The Golden Boys is even better. And then, we're working on trying to get our third feature-length film going, and we always have scripts. We have like 4 or 5 scripts that are just on the shelf waiting to be filmed. I think the best way to support us is just to spread the word, word of mouth. I'm probably going to be releasing Confined on YouTube just because it's most accessible. It's where we're going to get the most viewership. But, I can't monetize on my channel. So it's like the best thing that people can do to support us is to like, to comment, to share it with other people, get the word out on what we're doing, on what we're working on. Subscribe, the bigger audience that we get, the easier it's going to be to continue making movies and to continue upping the quality of those movies. So I think The Golden Boys is higher quality than Confined, and then this next one we're working on is going to be, I think, higher quality than The Golden Boys. We're only going to be able to continue doing that if we have ever-growing support. So
yeah, Confined will be out on YouTube. So you can watch it there, and then if you like it and you like what we're doing and you like Peter's directing, we can do more of it. We're just gonna keep doing it. So yeah, just keep sharing it and tell your friends about it if you enjoy it, and hopefully we'll just keep making movies. There won't be a rat in every single one of them.